Baylor women's basketball did lose to a player to the transfer portal. Who is it? Apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. It is Waiata, aka Wise Jennings. She's a 5'9" guard. I would have been a senior next year. And who knows about the following year as well, because the JUCO ruling could have been an effect for somebody else if they would have petitioned a year from now. So, she would at least have 1 year eligibility remaining, maybe two, who knows. But that's besides the point. And she played in 30 games this year and 10.7 minutes per game. She averaged the following: 2 points per game, 1.1, rebounds per game, 0.5, assists per game, 0.8, steals per game, 0.1, blocks per game, 0.4, turnovers per game, 0.8, fouls per game. The shooting front, she was 39.3% from the field on 56 attempts, 34.2% on threes on 38 attempts, and made all 4 free throws. When you look at her JUCO numbers, she was really good, but that's a lower level compared to the Division I, especially in a power conference. And to be honest, I never saw her as a starter for a year from now anyway. I didn't. She was probably to get like 10 to 15 minutes per game, but obviously I would have to think this is the reason why that she's moving on. And this does leave more guards to be needed. Because you lose Sarah Andrews, Yaya Felder, obviously Wise Jennings now, Leah Mataru, and Jada Walker. Yeah, that's not including if losing Aaronette Vonleh, and granted I know Madison Barley too, but she medically retired, but that's besides the point here. So they're gonna have to get more guards, and I'm gonna say this right now, and if you go on Instagram, Nikki Collins actually following the best guard from Arizona right now, and she even followed back. And I know that it's just one guard, but there's gonna have to be multiple guards, I'm sure. And I did notice as well in terms of the transfer portal, too, that Nikki Collins followed Brea Cunningham, the best forward from Arizona. Same thing goes for the leading scorer at Ohio State and Cody McMahon, that she even followed back to. And Caitlin Winmar from NC State, who was at Boston University, and she had good stats there. And Kiara Pemberton from North Dakota, that was a leading scorer over there too. So obviously they're going to have to address the guards, and no matter what, you got to get more depth. Because Jan Van Ginbeek's coming off of a knee injury, and who knows when she's going to get back to the player she was going to be before her torn ACL in the first game of the year. And obviously too that Inez Gorionova did not play last year. She redshirted. She tore ACL back at that a year ago, back in January. So they just let her recover from that. So, and granted, you gotta consider too that Baylor women's basketball does have Markayla Johnson coming in as a guard, as a freshman, and she is a good one at that. And she's 6 foot tall, so that could have influenced Wise Jennings to move on. So, yeah, basically I'm saying you gotta get some guards, and that's not including Bella Fonway as a guard either. If you want to classify her as a forward, that's fine. But same thing goes for Darian Paige Bucks too. That's only potentials for sure. Potentials. I'm coming back. So Markayla Johnson is, according to 247, it's like number 36 composite wise, but number 38 in terms of non-composite. So, and it's not including her ESPN ranking. So either way, they only have like one high school And for all we know, they could have somebody else late from the high school ranks or JUCO or even like a player from overseas. And I only noticed this because somebody noticed it too. It's a 6'4" center, Favor Ono. Like she was at the University of Philippines. So yeah, Marcarla Johnson, by the way, for the class of 2025. Was the and granted, I know they do have like that JUCO player that I mentioned as a guard on the state of the program too. They might be looking at still, and Kasia Antonio. So you know they're going they're going they're gonna figure it out. I'm not worried about that. I'm not. So we're gonna and obviously yeah number 41 according to ESPN. So either way, a top 45 recruit. That could have been a reason why too. But you get the whole picture here, and they honestly need to hire the director of recruiting and like director of recruiting and player influence, as well as that's the role that Keanu Ray was at, and Sadie Edwards, as we all know, was no longer established. She was like a recruiting coordinator and an assistant coach. So they definitely need to hire those two positions. Who is it going to be? We're going to have to wait and see. But this is just a first one to exit. So we'll see about if there's anybody else that really is going to leave. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens because I expect a lot of additions to happen. I do. You got to revamp this roster. The Big 12 is wide open because I don't expect TCU to be as good next year. I know West Virginia's losing some pieces. And like I said about Kansas State and Utah, the other teams in the league, they're going to take a step back. And same thing goes for Oklahoma State losing the best big and Grant Aussie too. So that's just saying that. And you know, Arizona's lost all their double digits from scores from last year, as well as a few players that are not notable. And like I mentioned earlier, the Baylor women's basketball head coach Nick Khan has followed him on Instagram. So you know, that's just going to be one of those wait and see deals. And I know there's a lot of players in the portal, so there's plenty of options out there. It's just getting the right ones. And it's one thing to get size, it's another thing to get size with skill and make an impact. So if you're looking at like a 6'4" player or taller, and I don't care if it's a 1 year player or 2 years or even 3 years, something to fill in the roster for next year, of course. And they need not only like starter types, like I would for sure get like a starting center no matter what. And I even would say get another backup too to help Kyle Abraham too. But I don't see Kyle Abraham as a starter for next year. Oh no. That's why I'm going to say go get a starting center. Can I get another Aaron Vonleh type? So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 or more. So my money, of course, like the video, comment the video really helps YouTube algorithms. More people see it. Sharing the video does help as well, as more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well.